Chong Li, the current champ.
He's never been defeated. Holds awesome records, including the fastest KO. He killed a guy during the last Kumite.
Yep, kicked the poor bastard right in the throat. I died right there on the platform. Chong Li stood there and watched him die.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's that time of the week when I bring my X-Men historian and Marvel aficionado, Doc, here on the channel, and we talk about all things X-Men. How you doing, Doc?
Oh, I love talking X-Men in the morning.
And so there wasn't any, mind-blowing news in the X-Men universe this week, but there's some real gems out there that we need to talk about. The first is this awesome cover of Juggernaut fighting Hulk and protecting Krakoa from the Green Rage Beast. What'd you think about this?
I thought it was an awesome cover. I'm still not entirely sure I understand what's up with Juggernaut's Tron redesign, because he looks like he swallowed one of those guys from Tron, from like the Tron Legacy reboot, with all the weird flowy lines things on his costume. But the cover itself is really, really cool. It's kind of that unstoppable force versus, well, not really a movable object, but two unstoppable forces running right into each other.
Absolutely. If only we had Gorilla Monsoon to call this one, it'd be perfect.
I know, right? This is some like old school, like monster wrestling kind of matchup that we don't get to see that much anymore.
Of course, these two have faced off in the past.
Oh, certainly. Juggernaut and Hulk have, I think they went at it in World War Hulk. I think they went at it in Fear Itself. I think they've went at it around the time of Onslaught. They've went at it a couple of times. Obviously, Juggernaut's gone up against Colossus a little bit more because he's more of a, an X-Men foe, and Colossus is a, longtime X-Man. But they have gone up against each other, Juggernaut and Hulk, before, and it's kind of awesome to see that again.
Yes, it's nice to see these two back in action. And Ron Garney on the art, it's going to be spectacular. Fabian Nicieza, writing the script. This is a must buy, right?
Oh, definitely. Even though this it's not really a Dawn of X book, but it's kind of Dawn of X adjacent. And definitely a close tie-in to that. Getting Fabian back into doing a sort of ancillary X book is awesome. And, Ron Garney's art is just absolutely amazing. So put them together with a monster like the Juggernaut, and yeah, I'm absolutely on board.
Yeah, so technically Juggernaut isn't a mutant, but his brother is one of the most powerful mutants in the world, and it looks like he will be defending the honor of Krakoa and the mutant citizens of that island. Can't wait for that. The other big piece of news is X-Force's Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara are bringing Gabby Kinney back. What do you think about that news?
I was really, really, really hoping that she would be forgotten to the dustbin of history, but apparently we are not this lucky. They start out with mutants that we give a damn about, and then slowly reinsert mutants that we just want to throw into the sun. And I am very disappointed that unless this return of her culminates with her being tossed directly into the sun, I'm going to be disappointed by it because she's there.
Yeah, it's disappointing that they're bringing like one of the Tom Taylor creations. I think she was a mainstay in X-Men Red, and that was one of the worst X-Men comics of all time, really.
Yeah, she was a mainstay in All New Wolverine, which was Tom Taylor. Also in X-Men Red, which was also Tom Taylor. And I know that I've probably sound like a broken record on this, but Tom Taylor is a terrible writer. Everything he ever did should be forgotten.
Everything he ever did associated with X-Men is absolutely, it should be thrown into the sun, like you stated. He's done some okay stuff at DC Comics, but his work basically his work at at Marvel sucks and is working on X-Men is absolutely the worst of the worst that he's ever done.
Oh, without a doubt. And bringing Gabby back, come on. She's a terrible character that's really obnoxious. Is just because what we needed was like a 19th goddamn Wolverine. We don't need another one. We really, really, really do not. Bringing her back again. I mean, they already have real Wolverine on the island. They have X-23 sort of pretending to be Wolverine, but now she's got to get another code name. And now bringing Gabby back. The only I'm waiting for Blonde-Verine to show up next too. And Dakin's back. We have too many goddamn Wolverines. Stop bringing more Wolverines back. This was the problem.
I'm with you, brother. This is not getting me excited. I'm a huge fan of Benjamin Percy. I'm a huge fan of Josh Cassara. I'm a huge fan of X-Force, but I'm absolutely not a huge fan of this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Ben Percy can think of something interesting to do. Maybe he brings her back and she's a total psychopath and she's a villain. I'd be good with that. Having her back and her, absolutely ridiculously annoying cuteness that's not cute, that Disney XD humor of her, no. That absolutely is unacceptable.
All right, Doc. I got more bad news for you. So the last article we're going to talk about, the X-Men are sending Wolverine to recruit a member of the Runaways. So Dadverine is at it again. This time in the hands of Rainbow Rowell. I'm not really familiar with the Runaways, but they sent him to go recruit a girl with a skunk hat. And I couldn't be more disappointed. Why would you send Wolverine? Can't you send one of the New Mutants or someone closer to her age or a character no one actually cares about to go to that comic book no one cares about?
Yes, that's what they should do, except for this is a terrible callback to the one issue where they had a run-in, when Molly Hayes was really young in like the original run around of the Runaways, where I think the Punisher and Wolverine end up there in it, and she basically beats up both of them.
Of course she does.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's kind of a callback to that. But the whole thing and there was this kind of this weird running joke during that era of, Wolverine and, teenage girl sidekicks. Her. It's another callback to that. Always send Wolverine to recruit the teenage girl sidekick. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it either. He should be pretty busy being a member of X-Force, considering they're murdering people on their island. They're infiltrating the island using people's skin. They murdered Charles already. There's a lot of stuff going on. It seems like they could find a less key member of the X-Men to go send off on this stupid side adventure. But I guess they're expecting this to sell a few copies of Runaways because, nobody reads this comic book.
Yeah, this is a comic book that nobody reads, and having a Wolverine guest star is an obvious please buy me sales ploy. It's kind of a callback to the 90s in that regard. Anytime they needed to bump the sales on a individual title, they'd stick Wolverine, Spider-Man, or Ghost Rider in it. Occasionally, the Punisher would work too.
Are you seeing the cover right now?
No, I am not. Hold on.
All right,
the one with Molly standing there, and she's as tall or taller than Wolverine.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Did you notice that she has a bigger bulge than he does?
Yeah, I actually did.
That's so pathetic.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on here?
And I really don't understand the skunk hat thing. I really, like everything about this cover irritates me. The smug look on both of their faces. I'm suddenly, she's no longer like, in the original Runaways run, she was like 12 or 10 or something like that. And she wore that, ridiculous thing that became the pink pussy hats before they were pink pussy hats. But now she has the pink pussy backpack, but a skunk hat, and she's like 14 now, 15, as big or bigger than Wolverine, and she's still got that same smug,
Yeah.
I hate this cover. I hate this cover. I hate both of these characters right now. Plus, that's not Wolverine's costume.
That's been happening a lot. I'm with you, man. This cover sucks. It pisses me off that they're going back to Dadverine, but haha, LOL, so random.
Yeah,
let's move on from this. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You're just going to depress me some more, Doc. Let's move on to the last good thing we got to talk about, because everyone says we're too negative. Well, we got two positive takes and probably two positive takes and two negative takes. X-Men 8 came out this week. Jonathan Hickman's previous 2-3 issues have been just lights out. Finally, what we've been expecting and waiting for. This week, Mahmoud Asrar is on the art. He's a longtime collaborator of Jonathan Hickman back in his Avengers days, and he jumps in on this. And it feels like it's more of a New Mutants comic, but it's still much better than we were getting at the beginning. What'd you think about X-Men number 8?
It wasn't bad. I didn't like it as much as 5 through 7, but I still liked it. I mean, it was obviously much more of a New Mutants issue. And it also explains why when Hickman, when they were announcing the launch of Dawn of X, they said, oh, well, I need to be partially like co-writing New Mutants because there's certain things that I need to do in New Mutants to set up what I'm going to do later in X-Men. And this is obviously the payoff for that. Except for it still felt like it should have been an issue of New Mutants.
Yeah, the King Egg was introduced in New Mutants. All those characters were introduced in New Mutants. I guess Cyclops is on here now, but it doesn't feel like an X-Men comic. But there's some good gems in here. I know that you mentioned there are a couple of things that you found really interesting. What were those things?
There was some interesting callbacks because I think this is going to explore one of the things that they hinted at earlier, that with the cloning, what happens when you find out that you've cloned somebody that didn't actually die. And I think Vulcan is going to be that person because they specifically said, but he didn't die. The cloned Vulcan that's hanging out with the Summers clan on Earth is not the Vulcan that died in War of Kings, and that Vulcan is going to come back. So now you're going to have two Vulcans, and that's going to be a problem, especially since one of them is still kind of a villain. They kind of just redeemed the Vulcan that we've seen so far in X-Men without ever, they just kind of hand waved away his villainous past and was like, oh, well, it happened off, the redemption for him happened off camera. Getting, having good Vulcan and bad Vulcan at the same time is going to be interesting. And which one, especially it might be a good time to explore the whole, do they actually have souls when they come back?
Or if you have two of them, do you have to kill one of them? Which one is the real Vulcan?
Exactly. But I mean, or do they, and then but I like the question of does then the cloned one even have a soul if the real one is still alive? And then how can you tell if any of the other cloned ones have souls?
It's certainly a question that's been introduced from the very beginning of House of X Powers of 10, and it's something we've been waiting to see addressed. So I'm with you. I'm excited to see that brought back into the forefront, and I can't wait for the two Vulcans to finally show up in the same place together.
Yes, same here. And now the other thing that was interesting is when they talked about the rift. I think that's what they called it. That kind of hole in time and space.
The fault?
Yeah, the fault. That was it. Sorry. Now, I wonder whether or not this is going to connect back to any of the Phalanx things. Now, those space whales are a huge callback way back to the late 100s issues when the X-Men were first fighting the Brood and Storm got infected, and then one of the space whale things. rebirthed her essentially, and that they were kind of an endangered species. But now we see the brood kind of piloting almost a fleet of them. That was an interesting callback. But the biggest interesting thing was we started seeing some setup for that X of Swords, 10 of Swords thing with the sword from the space knight. Seeing the sword.
That was,
oh wait, was that
was last week?
No, I thought that was this week.
I thought that was Cable is this week.
Oh yeah, that was Cable. Yeah, sorry, shit. That was what it was setting up. Damn it. I'm sorry, some of these are blending into my brain because I read them all at the same time.
Yeah, that was basically a story that's a cartoon that my son just watched where there's an angry dog and the boy's scared of it, and then he finally finds out the dog isn't really angry. He has a splinter in his paw.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. And yeah, because it was definitely a episode of like Clifford the Big Red Dog.
They also had a callback to that in Excalibur number 9. There was another sword introduced in there, but I didn't care enough to read into it.
Okay. So yeah, sorry, I was blending Cable number 1 and X-Men 8 in together. But I think the setting up the need for having all of the New Mutants in this one kind of bugged me. This issue really should have been an issue of New Mutants, but I guess right now Hickman's just using the X-Men title as kind of his catch-all for wrap or continuing plot points or expanding plot points from other titles.
Yeah, it seems like that. I'm with you. It should have been a New Mutants, but it's certainly better than those first 4 issues of X-Men. I continue to enjoy where Jonathan Hickman's taken the series, and I think X-Men as a whole, Dawn of X is going in the right direction. Still have concerns about 10 of Swords. We'll see how that goes. Doc, do you have any last things that you wanted to say before we wrap this video up?
Cable number 1 was an episode of, like Clifford the Big Red Dog, and the only redeeming page was the last one.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like tween Cable. What the? God.
Yeah. Also, there shouldn't be as many like preteen mutants. They have to hit puberty first. Damn it.
Absolutely, you don't become a mutant. Your mutant gene doesn't become active till you're 13.
Yes. Stop it.
I agree with you. All right, Doc. Cable absolutely did suck. I did not even enjoy making that review. I don't enjoy roasting Jerry Duggan, but man, he gives me so many opportunities when he's writing X-Men books. He is just the wrong fit for all of it.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.